What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Madden 25 Team Builder Dynasty here on Madden 2025. Now, we are here in our second season, and in the midst of our second season, we've been putting together a great campaign. We are 4-0 to start the season, but control of our division is on the line here tonight, as we travel to the hangar in Evansville, Indiana, to take on the Evansville Thunderbolts, who come in with a 3-1 record while we are currently sitting undefeated, and I fully expect this game to be an absolute shootout. Evansville comes in with the best offense in the league, averaging over 30 points a game, but we are not too far behind them, as we're averaging 29.7 points a game ourselves. So the top two offenses are getting ready to square off, but we do also have a top 10 defense as well. And the winner of this game is going to have early control of the division as well. We're 4-0. Evansville is just a game behind us as well, so should be a very exciting game to see who is going to have control of the AFC North. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. If you do, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you happen to be brand new to the channel. And before we get into that, we have a couple of things that we need to take care of first. But before we jump into our key matchup that we have against Evansville, we jump into a press conference that we have, with the local Gem City media. And what we have seen is that we are actually getting some questions in terms of, what's the ceiling of this team? Now, I love the fact that we are still undefeated at this point, but it's spring football, and I don't expect us to be undefeated and go that 17-0 distance. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to shoot for somewhere in the middle, show that we continue to have improvement here in year number 2. If we can get to 10 to 11 wins as a team, I feel like that's certainly possible and really helps. So like if we don't have any kind of regression, so to speak, as the year goes on. Now, this is also a time for us to go ahead and check out some of the upgrades that we do have going on, and a couple of those upgrades involve some of our backup players. One of those backup players is Joe Spears, who we end up mostly seeing as a special teamer, not somebody that is going to go in on the goal line by any means, but a solid third down back if Paul Lashley needed some relief. We're going to go ahead and work on elusive back for him, work on him getting into breaking those tackles in open space, and so he does get a +3 awareness from that particular upgrade, but doesn't really get too much else from that particular activity. And then Delane Simmons, who's one of our backup wide receivers that we have on this roster. Here we're going to work on his physicality, because his physicality is definitely his weakest link, and we like to try to be as well-rounded as we possibly can. But Delane Simmons here actually does not really get much of an upgrade here, as Delane Simmons does get a +2 to release and spec catch, but to be honest with you, I don't really see any kind of change in his overall, if we're being honest with ourselves. But with that being said, guys, the battle of the AFC North hangs in the balance, and it comes down to Thursday night primetime action to determine who is going to take the early commanding lead in the AFC North. Let's go kick it down to Evansville, Indiana, out in the hangar to see if we can remain undefeated, or will Evansville ultimately split our season with us staying in triangles? Alright, boys, so making that short road trip to Evansville, Indiana, as the Thunderbolts are going to have the ball first to get things started here, as their quarterback's going to throw out to the left-hand side. He's going to find an open receiver as he's able to get away from our star corner, Peter Townsend. And not necessarily the start that I was looking for at all. We give up 20+ on that. And now Evansville finds itself in great position here early on across midfield, and finding some more space here yet again, as Evansville able to move the sticks for yet another first down, as Evansville certainly has got it going on right now. Here we go with a 2nd and 7 going from the left-hand side as they'll throw short to Alex Irvin. Irvin able to pick up the first down as quickly we see that Evansville has gotten themselves into the red zone and just struggling to find any sort of pass rush. And Gregory Sanders, one of the better quarterbacks in the UFL, so we can't get pressure on this guy, then it actually might be an extraordinarily long day for us, at least on the defensive side of the ball, as they'll be set up with 1st and goal from the 10-yard line, firing a strike down the middle of the end zone, and Evansville, just like that, is going to find the board first, as they'll quickly take a 7-0 lead. But let's see if our offense can respond with a touchdown of their own, as we'll hand it off to one of the best running backs in the UFL, and that is our main man, Paul Lashley. As Paul Lashley is going to almost move the 6 for us. It's going to be 3rd and inches. We'll see if we can pull a fast one here, though, as we'll move somebody out into motion. Thrown short to Jason Bingham. He was open right on the midfield logo. And that's going to help us move the chains here for the Dayton Triangles, as we're still trying to respond to the touchdown on the first drive of the game. We'll throw to the left-hand side, looking for Nathan Thomas. And Nathan Thompson, he's one of those guys that I would say is certainly a player that's capable of starting in this league. Just Paul Lashley, like, you're obviously going to have Paul Lashley on the field at all times. And while he does have that drop, he does have the same hands as Paul Lashley. He still has some good, hard running abilities, able to pick up a first down there, as now we're looking at a spot to where we are starting to threaten this Evansville team all of a sudden. Let's just see if we can end it in a touchdown as well. 2nd and 4 coming up. We got one-on-one here on Chris Saxon. You know I'm taking that 10 times out of 10, as Chris Saxon's going to cook the Evansville secondary for a 20-plus yard gain. And for the very first time today, we're set up in the red zone, looking for our touchdown to work off of, as we can find Paul Lashley almost into the end zone. I thought Paul Lashley was going to be able to walk into that end zone, but hey, give him credit. Evansville definitely locked in there briefly, but will not be able to deny Paul Lashley for very long, as one of the star running backs in this game. It's going to help your Dayton Triangles nod this thing up at 7. So a 7-all game here in this first quarter of action. We are able to find a way to get a stop off, or get a touchdown offensively. Now what I really need to see, I need our defense to really lock in here. We need a stop. Like, can we just not let them into the end zone? That would be much appreciated. But apparently that is a huge ask for us, as we give up another big play down the sideline. As once again we find ourselves in our own territory, as we try to send the blitz and maybe try to create some pressure, but seems like early on this Evansville team has all of the answers, and Austin Brooks is going to score for the Thunderbolts, as we quickly find ourselves down 14-7. So we are definitely down horrendous defensively. Could be a shootout on our hands. So we'll see if our offensive unit can answer the call, as we are looking at one of the last plays of the first quarter. See if we can get something going with the RPO looking, and sure enough, there's Leon Thomas open on a one-on-one opportunity. We saw the blitz. We weren't going to put Paul Lashley through all of that, and it turns out to be an amazing call, as that's going to take us through to the end of the first quarter. We may be down, but we're certainly not out by any means. So with that being said, boys, welcome back to this primetime matchup against the Evansville Thunderbolts. As one of the first plays of the second quarter, Andrew Collar throws a devastating interception, and we cannot bring him down. So that's going to be a pick 6. And that could be the game with the way that we're playing defensively to start this thing out. And while we don't end up turning the football over on that very next possession, we do end up going 3 and out. So this is what the kids would like to call a danger zone moment right about now. This is an important drive for our defense, and I need them to lock in right now. All the time in the world, and Gregory Sanders finds a wide but make it open Austin Brooks. I got guys in zone coverage. How are we having people this open, man? Just continues to infuriate me, man. As looks like we're going to be down 28-7 early, but no need to fear, though, because there's still a lot of game left. While this has been an egregious start here by every stretch of the imagination, we just got to come in here and try to make something happen here, man. So, seconds 21 coming up as Collar's going to throw to the left-hand side. Finds the star tight end, Grayson Heidick, as that will certainly help in trying to move us forward there. As now 3rd and 13 coming up. Collar looking over the middle of the field. He's got Chris Sexton, who was there one-on-one, and we're taking full advantage of that all the time, man. Let's go, baby. Let's see if our boys can finally start waking up here, as Collar's going to go play action here on the next play. Good trying to send it deep. He's got one-on-one, but it is a tad overthrown. Was well covered there. I thought Jason Bingham had a step, but we were incorrect, and I thought Jason Bingham was also going to be open there as well. Because I thought that corner that made the interception was playing back more so towards Chris Sexton, but Keelan Kirksey baited us perfectly. And that's going to lead to yet another touchdown for Evansville. It's getting ugly, and it's getting ugly here fast. Depending on how things go here in the next few drives, we could be looking at a super sim situation, which I definitely don't want to get into that. But, you know, if it's getting bad, you know, we might have to think about getting some of those backups into the game just to have that self-preservation at this point. I'm very surprised as a 4-0 team that we are playing as bad as we are. This has been a disappointment for sure, to say the least. But maybe we got to get Paul Lashley more involved. You know, put a lot of pressure on his second-year quarterback, and certainly he's cracking under the pressure here. Playing like Kirk Cousins usually does in primetime matchups outside of that Sunday 1 o'clock window. But 3rd and short coming up after a throwaway. And we want to run that dang ball. And Paul Lashley's going to deliver for us another first down for today in triangles. So let's see if we make some shake here. Less than 3 minutes left here in the first half as we got some space here on the right-hand side. Chris Sexton is going to get open on the slot fade. And we make Evansville pay for it. Touchdown, Dayton. And the triangles are going to pull a little bit closer. However, with that being said, with less than 3 minutes left, Evansville trying to make something shake here as we have all of these missed tackles. And this is just a moment where I knew, man, like we might not be winning this game, bro. Like, I'm going to be keeping it real with y'all right now. We might not be winning this game after a play like that. Like, how does Austin Brooks get through all of our defenders like that? I have absolutely no idea. Not even like a star. I'm pretty sure he's like an average Joe. Like, that's the wild part in all of this. So, that being said, we do see Evansville score yet again as we still try to search for answers. But one of our offensive linemen goes down. That's not good. So, we're going to need, he's going to be out for at least the rest of his drive. We'll dump it off to Leon Thomas, though, as Leon Thomas does move it for a few yards there. As Leon Thomas is a little bit shaken up as well, so this could create some space here for DeAndre Bazier, which DeAndre Bazier gets open right off the gun. And there's that late round draft pick, man. DeAndre Bazier making it shake here. We love to see it. Making a big time play. Coming in cold as well. You love to see the effort. We'll see what we can do with the rest of the team. Could be a little bit of a spark. As I try to throw to the right-hand side for Grayson Heidick, but that was well covered. Probably should have gone to Chris Sexton in hindsight. But that takes us to a 2-minute warning, as now Collar's going to drop back. He's going to look over right-hand side, looks to the right-hand side, and finds Grayson Heidick for a 7-yard gain there on the play. We do end up taking a timeout. As now 3rd and short coming up here for your Dayton Triangles. As Jason Bingham goes into motion. Looks, finds Chris Saxon. But Saxon cannot hang on and make the catch. It makes you wonder what we are going to do next here. I think at this point, you know, field goals just are not going to cut it. So we're going to risk it for a biscuit here. We're going to run it on a 4th and 3. See what we can do. As Lashley tries to get to the corner, but it's well covered. Nowhere to go at all. And Evansville is going to take over on downs. Trying to take that risk and trying to, you know, be a little bit more creative, but just didn't work out for us. Now, to the credit of our defensive guys, we do actually get in free and out. That is a rarity. I guess, like, in this particular game, just outright seeing free and outs. That's only the 2nd one that we've seen today. But with that being said, though, let's see if we can try to make something shake here. Throwing to the right-hand side. Grayson Heidick down the sideline, and it's going to get out of bounds. Gets across the 35-yard line, and while Andrew Collar has not been terrible today, we're going to be needing him a lot more if we're going to make some kind of electric comeback happen. As Heidick is going to go ahead. He's going to get down here. We're going to use our timeout. We still have one more timeout that we could use, so we can try and take a shot at the end zone. Let's see if Jason Bingham is there. We do have one-on-one coverage, but Bingham, while he does make the catch, is immediately tackled. So we will settle for a short field goal, and that's going to take us into halftime. Offensively, I definitely feel like we're playing fine, but giving up 42 points in one single half, that's definitely egregious. As we take a quick look around the league to see what kind of notable matchups are going to be happening here. Some things to note, we do have DC and the Charlotte Knights playing at Sunday at 1. DC making it a deep run in our conference last year. The Battlehawks, who are the AFC champions, they are on Sunday Night Football. They're taking on Vegas. That could be a good matchup among many others. But that will wrap up our halftime report as we now get into the second half of action. Now, one silver lining of what we do have here to start this second half is that, hey, we do at least get the chance to start with the ball. So if there's a chance for us to come out here and cut into this deficit, it's definitely right now. So let's see what we can do here on the 2nd and 15 as we try to throw to the left-hand side. One to go deep, but Andrew Collar just ran out of time, though. So already staring down a 3rd and 15 as Collar's going to go ahead and snap the ball here in the 5-wide set. Looking around, he wants to go deep downfield. Once Jason Bingham, it just didn't do a good job boxing out. I was trying to user him so that we can box out the safety. But Zach Autry was able to make a better play on the ball, and that's going to be another interception. One that I wouldn't call, one that I wouldn't pin specifically on our quarterback, Andrew Collar, but that certainly does not help at all. And what's already been a successful day offensively for Evansville, they're going to be set up in plus territory as we simply don't have an answer for Austin Brooks. He has 220 in receiving yards today. Actually surprised that they didn't go to his direction again. He'll pick up a gain of 7, though, that particular receiver. So now, 2nd and 3 coming up as Sanders looks over the middle, and that's going to be hung on to for a first down. That's Winslow making the catch for the Evansville Thunderbolts as Evansville now finds itself back in the red zone. We'll see if our guys can go ahead and lock in here a little bit. We got 2nd and 4 now coming up. Dropping back, looks over to the left-hand side, and it's going to be incomplete. That's Ricky Roberts, the star dev linebacker, who's able to come in and make some noise there. As now, 3rd and 4 coming up, looking, facing a great pressure, but somehow gets out of it. Throws it to Austin Brooks, which ends in a first down, but our guy completely lifts on the tackle, and it's 49-17. Like, I have no words for how we're playing defensively. Like, just time in and time out. Just getting dominated on that defensive side. But DeAndre Bossier can certainly change things. So, down the sideline. Oh, he gets dragged out across the 15-yard line. But what a return About a late-round rookie out of Wake Forest, DeAndre Bazier, setting us up inside the 15-yard line. As now we try to go to work ourselves here. 1st and 10. Collar facing incredible pressure. Did see Paul Lashley there in the corner of my eye, but it was just so late. It was much too late. So 2nd and long now coming up. Gotta come away with a touchdown here, man. Gotta make it happen. Grayson Hyde could help a little bit, and we do get to the original line of scrimmage, but still, we're talking about a 3rd and 9. It's not going to be an easy one for us to pick up here at all. We'll see if Andrew Collar can cook up something. Looks over the middle and sure enough, Chris Sexton is going to take care of us here, man. Touchdown, Dayton. Not going to really celebrate because we're still down tremendously, but hey, Chris Sexton at least came to play here in this primetime matchup. That's his 2nd touchdown today. But we just need some stops, man. Can we please get some kind of stop? I would truly appreciate that if we can, get something going here. And that's not going to help. That is not going to help us at all. Another explosive play that we gave up to Austin Brooks, who has been a one-man wrecking crew today. It just, we do not have any answers defensively. Denorio Allen, I thought, was going to have that break up. And, yeah, man, we're going to get called for the defensive pass interference. Of course, the one time that we actually make a breakup, we get flagged for DPI. And so, we just can't have nice things offensively, apparently. At least, not in this particular game. Could be just a one-game admiration. Hopefully, it's not a cause for greater concern moving forward. But, yeah, Sanders having a huge day, though. 355 touchdowns. Trying everything, trying blitzes, trying man coverage. This man coverage actually works, so Denorio Allen is able to deflect that pass away, so we love to see that. But on 2nd and 10, though, Sanders will quickly look around to the right-hand side and throw it to that guy, Austin Brooks. He's been a problem today, and he continues to be that. 12 catches, 257 yards. This all Madden defensively, it is not for the wicked here at all. As I thought we were going to be able to get the stop here on 4th down, but they're calling a penalty. They're calling out on us illegal contact. Forget that I actually play lockdown defense with a user. The game just doesn't want us to get stops here, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But we do get some pressure on Sanders, but throws on the run. And that's also completed as well. Like, you just got to sit back. You got to just admire greatness. I mean, like, that's not an easy throw for a quarterback to make. And it's going to, I find, not lead to a touchdown right away. But, of course, it leads to yet another touchdown. And that was the story of this one. We gave up way too many points, way too many yards. And while offensively, we certainly played very well today, I mean, when you give up 70 points in a professional game, there's really nothing you can do. So I'm going to be honest with you, man. This was one of those games where we was never going to win. Especially with the way that our defense was playing. Giving up 70 points in a professional football game, that's unacceptable. That's Kent State defense numbers, and we're not Kent State. We're at a much higher level than that. And so it's really disheartening to see, the kind of effort that we had. Turnovers don't help, but even without the turnovers, I don't think we'd be able to win this one for sure. We probably still would have been blown out, if I'm keeping it real with you. And a big reason for that is that we had no answer for Gregory Sanders. Gregory Sanders went off, 462 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Also, Collar struggled to take care of the ball. He did throw his first interception in the last episode against Orlando. This is his first multi-interception game this season. He throws 3 interceptions here, does throw 3 touchdowns, throws for 344 yards, but not the kind of balance that we necessarily wanted either. And because of that lack of balance and because of the game script, we could not get Paul Lashley nearly as involved as what I wanted to in this game. He averaged less than 4 yards a carry, but did end up finding the end zone at the very least. And then Nathan Thompson does end up with 1 carry for 11 yards, so he was solid. Jason Bingham, we tried him on jet sweep, and that just went nowhere. Chris Sexton looked like a star. Once again, he does have 160 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. He was electric for us. Grayson Heineck was good. He had 7 catches for 83 yards. We also managed to get DeAndre Bazier a little bit more involved. Literally looking to see what he can do with the injury to Leon Thomas and possibly to somebody else as well in this starting lineup does open up opportunities for the rookie out of Wake Forest. But none of that matters if we can't get anything from our defense. Again, giving up 70 points is rough to see. That being said, Peter Townsend at least did a good job tackling. He had 13 tackles in this game, and then Dylan Wright, Cameron Spencer, and Daryl Opshaw, they all had 7 total tackles. Cameron Spencer and Harold Perez did combine for a sack, and then obviously we didn't force any turnovers. Really nothing much good to say here, given how, I mean, we shit the bed in this one. Let's keep it honest here. So one positive that we can at least draw from this game is that we were at least able to get a few upgrades for our guys. Like Paul Lashley, I'm pretty sure we are very close to getting him 99 overall, and he's technically listed as a 99 overall right now with the temporary boost. We'll put a little bit into power bank, and it gives him a +3 in break tackle, so that could definitely help him out in the open field for sure. I mean, Paul Lashley, I mean, he looks like a stud, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, Paul Lashley, we might be losing him to the NFL after this season if he keeps up his production. But we have a couple of other players on this roster too. Leon Thomas is certainly one of them, and Leon Thomas, we want him to be more physical, but we also already see one of the significant injuries that we picked up, a dislocated ankle, out for 4 weeks, which means we are likely going to be seeing more of DeAndre Bazier through the next few weeks of the season. That +3 to awareness will at least help him out some, and he does get an upgrade before leaving the field. And then our backup safety, Daryl Upshaw, does come in. He gets an upgrade. And, you know, Daryl Upshaw, at times, he did look lost. I'm not going to lie to you. He definitely looks somewhat lost, although he does jump up quite a few overalls. A +4 to zone coverage and a +2 to tackling does help out tremendously. So Daryl Upshaw now looks like a viable starter in the UFL in the event that Nick Cotton does end up getting hurt as well. So we knew about the injury to Leon Thomas, a dislocated ankle that's going to put him out for at least a month, but he's not the only injuries that we're dealing with. Other starters that are on this team that are hurt right now are Niles Cotton, who is a big reason why we didn't see him in that matchup against Evansville. Would have been really nice to have him on the field because we did get burned in the secondary quite a few times today. And then also Barry Alfman. Barry Alfman is suffering a foot fracture. He's going to be out for a few weeks. He's someone that we do have a hidden dev trait on. And if it wasn't for that foot fracture, we would have found out what his hidden development trait is. Although, granted, I think we would have been leading a little bit more towards him being like a regular star, not like a superstar. Still curious to see what that overall development trait is. But yeah, man, free starters that are out of the starting lineup is definitely going to hurt us moving forward. But because we didn't get through an entire game, I definitely wanted to jump into another one just to see if that was more of an admiration or if it's a cause for greater concern. So we will jump into the moments here of this Monday night matchup that we have against the LA Wildcats, who did have the worst record in the league last year. They had the #1 overall selection. They signed a pretty good corner who, like, as a rookie was like an 82 overall. So like for this league, that's definitely really good. And then we just get dotted up by Daryl Upshaw, man. That's wholeheartedly on the user. I can't even blame that on my defense. That's whole up on me. Raphael Joyner makes us look silly. And early on, LA is going to take a 7-0 lead as we'll go ahead and run the ball with Paul Lashley. I mean, look at the power behind Paul Lashley's running, man. He hasn't had too many carries, been a little bit banged up going into this game, like in simulation. But he definitely makes that one count. And then we'll finish this drive out with Chris Saxton. Fun in the end zone, and now allows the opportunity to tie this game up against the LA Wildcats. So it's all knotted up here at 7 apiece as we have a chance to take the lead here as we get into the like deep into the second quarter. But we get stuffed at the point of penetration, and now 4th and 2. What are we going to do? And you know what? We're going to grow some cojones. And we're going to go for it here, man. 4th and 2. Andrew Collar gets sent out into the motion. He's going to look over to that motion, man. And Jason Bingham, all by himself, is able to move the sticks. First down for the Dayton Triangles. Let's see if it leads to any points here, as this is the last play before the 2-minute warning. Throwing over to the right-hand side, but it's going to be incomplete. So, do have to settle for a field goal. But, 10 to 10, our defense is playing a lot better. As long as that holds up, we should be okay. As Chris Saxon continues to throw extraordinarily well. Chris Saxon getting open there yet again. But we are facing 3rd and long, though. Really need our guys to really shake it up here on this 3rd and 9. Collar going to try to get it out to DeAndre Bazier, who makes the catch, cuts upfield, and nearly finds the end zone, but he'll drop us off at about the 2-yard line. So, good stuff there from DeAndre Bazier. Continue to impress me with his level of play for, someone else drafted in the 5th round as a rookie. And eventually sets up a Paul last week touchdown, so we will take the lead. So, we're out here. We're up 17 to 10. Let's just see if we can go ahead and make something shake here over the middle, as Peter Townsend get caught out of position trying to make a play on the ball, and that's going to hurt us tremendously. Another touchdown for the LA Wildcats. It's John Baldwin that's going to tie it up for LA. And it's all knotted up here at 17. This could swing out in either direction here, so definitely got to lock in here in these final moments of the game. But when you have someone like Chris Saxon, it certainly makes you feel a whole lot better. Chris Saxon gonna find the end zone, show the swagger, putting a show for the Hollywood fans out here, man. And so we find ourselves now up 24 to 17 as we enter that final quarter of action. Gonna try to run it with Paul Lashley, who cuts it back inside. It's a first down for the Dayton Triangles. Real chance here to use his offensive line to control the rest of this game. But we're going to go ahead and throw it down over the middle instead to Jason Bingham, as that could be curtains for the LA Wildcats here on prime time. As there's only a 4.5 minutes left in this game, only down by a couple of possessions. It's not looking good, but hold up now. Wait a minute. John Baldwin gonna score again for the LA Wildcats. This thing is far from over. We could have ourselves a game here after all, especially if we don't manage to pick up this 4th down, which I just wanted to see if we can get some points on the board. Put a little bit of style on it, man. Could we have went for the field goal? Would that probably been the smarter play? Yes, but when it's only inches and worst case scenario, you gotta drive like 95 yards. You're happy to take that risk, and it works out beautifully for us. So we do bounce back and get the win. Still have some questions about our defense, though. But this was something that we clearly showed that LA, the team that we went up against, is definitely improved. They are definitely an improved football team, even though we did get to pull away from them in that 4th quarter. This is not the same team that garnered that first overall selection in the UFL draft in season number 1. These guys can actually play, and they actually should be competitive here in season number 2. Kind of excited to see the development of this LA Wildcats team as we continue to progress through season number 2. But what I love the most about this game is that we were able to bounce back after turning the ball over 3 times with our quarterback. Collar ends up going 28 for 41 for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, so a very good job of taking care of the football. He also threw for 286 yards in the ballgame. In addition to that, Paul Lashley was able to run for over 100 yards on the ground and found the end zone on 2 separate occasions. As Paul Lashley, I actually think he's closing in on 10 total touchdowns on the season already. He's been unstoppable. Speaking of unstoppable, we gotta have a conversation about DeAndre Bazier, because oh man, did that boy bring it today. DeAndre Bazier with a breakout performance of 7 catches, 94 yards. If he keeps this up, I would imagine that he is going to be having himself a chance to get a development upgrade here in the middle of the season, because he's definitely stepping up with the injury to Leon Thomas. Meanwhile, we also see Jason Bingham find the end zone once in this game, and then Chris Saxton, our star receiver, he ends up finding the end zone on 2 separate occasions. So, very good job today by our receiving core. And I figured it would be much easier to do this, but our defense played much better than in that game earlier this episode against Evansville, only allowing 24 points. We were able to close it out, actually, which is nice as well. And that's the thing. I don't need my defense to be great. Just be competent. If we're competent, we're going to be unstoppable, right? Niles Cotton, our free agent acquisition, led the team in tackles with 7 total tackles, with Jared Strong and Harold Perez each garnering 5 total tackles in the game. We also did a much better job of getting a pass rush as we were able to get sacks with Harold Perez, Daryl McLeod, and Mac Lever, who all lie on that defensive line. 2 of them are our defensive tackles. We did also get an interception. Cameron Spencer was also able to get an interception. He took it back for 9 yards. That was actually your only turnover of the game, though. But a much better job by our defense as we're able to get back to our winning ways. Now, another thing that we do have happen to us after that game is that we do get some upgrades that we get to work with, primarily in our trenches. So Eric Carey is going to be the first guy that's going to be upgraded for us. He is an excellent offensive lineman. He's actually probably our best offensive lineman that we have. We're going to work on his agileness because he's not really a scheme fit for us because he's not really that quick. So this should help him get a little bit faster, +2 to multiple things, including lead block, pass blocking, and run block finesse, as the 4th-year player continues to show that he's one of the best offensive linemen in the UFL. Speaking of those trenches, we're also going to take a hard look at Matt Weaver. Matt Weaver, a strong defensive lineman for us. He's actually very close to getting another skill upgrade, I believe. So for now, we're going to work on power rusher. And even with that upgrade, he's very close to leveling up again. He's up to an 87 overall with the temporary boost and also the morale that is in the building right now. He gets a +2 to play rec and power moves that we can definitely work off of as well. Then the last person that's getting upgraded is Isaiah Connor. Isaiah Connor is someone that's more of a rotational piece for us, because of the fact that, he's a solid player, but he's not a great player. He does enough for us, right? We will get him up to a natural 73 overall, though, as we give him a +2 to run block power. And I believe he is even more of a scheme fit for us as well, which is a nice little added bonus. So even though we made it through the first 6 weeks of the season, there's still a couple of undefeated teams that are still out there. San Antonio, for example, even though they lost out on one of their superstars to the NFL, they're actually still undefeated at the moment. Then the Charleston Dirty Birds, who also had a player or 2 go to the NFL last season, they're still undefeated as well. Granted, not as impressive because they did already have a bye week. Now, checking out the standings, we do see that Evansville has lost another game since we played them on prime time. So, because we were able to beat LA, we are back in the lead. And then Columbus is actually not too far behind. They're sitting at 4-2 themselves. In the South, the Birmingham Stallions are actually giving chase to the San Antonio Brahmins. It's a pretty close race between these 2 squads right here. In the East right now continues to show being one of the weaker divisions in the UFL. Boston is currently on top of the AFC East with a 3-3 record, but they are the only team that's currently above 500 at the moment. Now, in the AFC West, the Vegas Vipers are currently sitting at 5-1, but carry a 2-game lead over the likes of the San Diego Fleet, who had one of the worst records in the league last year, followed by Salt Lake City and the St. Louis Battlehawks. And then now we get over to the NFC side of things. Louisville is currently on top. They do have the tiebreaker over the Michigan Panthers. Louisville particularly hot, riding a 4-game winning streak at the moment. In the South, Atlanta is still on top, but they did drop their last couple of games. So this division has gotten a lot tighter, but Arlington or New Orleans, neither of those 2 teams have really been able to take advantage. Tampa Bay in particular has also dropped its last 3 games as well. In the NFC East, we know about Charleston, but right behind them is the New Jersey Generals, who are having a solid season at 3-3, while the Philadelphia Stars quickly show that they may need to go in a complete rebuild. And then, last division that we have here is the NFC West, and so far the Eugene Chiefs are currently on top of the division. After starting 1-2, they are on a 3-game winning streak, and they're now sitting at 4-2 to begin this season. Beating the LA Wildcats has kicked them out of first place in the NFC West. So let's talk about what I want to do here in the next episode. And in the next episode, I think I want to play at least some of the next 3 games that we do have. We do have a home game against Houston, but then after the Houston Roughnecks games, we do go on the road for a couple of battles. We'll play the moments on the road when we take on the Pittsburgh Maulers in AFC North Divisional action, but then a key game possibly as we take on the Eugene Chiefs on the road. That'll be a game where we will play the full thing, so I'm very excited to see how these 3 games end up turning out. Even though we did lose by 40 plus to Evansville, we're still off to a great start. We are 5-1 to start the season, and it just goes to show that, hey, even though we're prone to our bad moments, we can still be one of the best teams in the UFL if we can continue this momentum. So join me in the next episode, as next time out we will get to halfway into the newest UFL season, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you have, make sure you go ahead and smack that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button as well if you do have to be brand new to the channel. This is John Chick Gaming on the mic signing off, but hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.